Hello, and welcome to Rethinking Our History, where we seek to shed a light on events that have been forgotten and covered up, and to make us all question how much do we really know about our history? I'm Felicia.
And I'm Ian, and we are here to reveal all the sordid details of history that have been swept under the rug. Get ready to get angry, be curious, and maybe have a laugh or two as we rethink our history.
Hello, friends.
Hey guys.
Thanks for joining us for another lesson, number 41.
Yeah.
Yeehaw. Um, we got quite an interesting episode for you today, but first, let's get the business out of the way. If you found us here first and are a fan of the paranormal, give our show, The Paranormal Lovers, a listen. Over 100 episodes about some of the worst cults, the best cryptids, and so much more. If you would please be so kind, give us a follow and or subscribe on the social media, a like, follow, and or subscribe on the social medias,
Or all of them.
or all of the above. And search for the Paranormal Lovers in the search bar to find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This is a free and easy way you can help us grow. If you would like to support the making of these shows, we have a couple different ways for you to do so. First, we have our merch store at theparanormallovers.threadless.com, where you can find apparel for the whole family, wall art, magnets, and so much more. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/the paranormal lovers. There we have a $5 tier where you get early access to unedited videos of both shows, as well as a bi weekly show titled Why Do Men? Where we look at some of the worst men who ever existed. You will also get stickers and other swag from time to time. Nat. Finally, if you have a personal story, true crime, paranormal, or historical, you would like to be a guest on the show, or you have a topic request, email us at theparanormallovers@yahoo.com. All right, so this week we are actually going to bring you an Ian episode.
Woo, yay.
What?
Yep.
In the history pod?
Yep.
What? Yep. Ian saw something and it tickled a part of his brain and he wanted to talk about it. So what do you got for us today, babe?
So I ran across the story after
Maybe don't say specifically who it was because we don't have their permission to name them.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah, I don't put any names in there.
Okay.
Um
Sorry.
I ran across the story at a wedding that I went to, and I'm not going to name anybody, but it was held in Waynesville. And while I was driving up to this event, I had drove by a house that had all these statues in and around the yard. Now, these were little statues of black people.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. They had them like alongside their house, their driveway, their porch, they had them all around their yard and house.
That straight felt like I was going to in the movie Get Out.
Yeah.
Get me the fuck away from here.
So me, just being me, instantly in my head, I was like, like, I don't know what this is, but I don't like it. So the curiosity hit me, of course. So the next day I Googled it, just to find out more for myself because, I had to know. The little black statues are called lawn jockeys, but are they racist? That's the question, right?
They look like the ones I'm seeing in these photos. They sure as fuck are.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, this is where this episode comes in. I was like, I got to do a history podcast on this one because it's very much in question. So we're going to be talking about today the lawn jockey. Are they something for black people to be proud of? Or are people racist for collecting them? That's the question. So, allegedly, the origin of the lawn jockey comes from the time of America's birth, when George Washington was a general. One night in the winter of 1976,
No.
no,
Nope.
1776, George Washington was preparing to cross the Delaware River. He was preparing a surprise attack on the British forces stationed at Trenton. Before he left, he told a young black servant of his, named Jocko Graves, that he was to keep a lantern lit all night long, so that when Washington was done fighting, they would be able to find their way back across the river. He told him that, he told him that he was too young to go fighting with them, or to fight the redcoats with them. He told him to stay and take care of the horses and keep the lantern going. It would be late the next morning before Washington would return. He returned and found that the 12-year-old servant boy had frozen to death in the cold December air, either afraid to move or afraid to let Washington down. The little boy was still clutching the lantern that Washington ordered him to keep going all night long. Now, supposedly, General Washington was so moved by the young boy's devotion to him, uh, and his cause, that he paid a commission to build a statue of the faithful groomsman.
Yes, be such a good slave that you freeze to death.
Right. And he would go on to put that statue at his house in Mount Vernon. Now, there are some African Americans that would tell this story in the spirit of patriotism and recognize the story of Jocko as being honorable and heroic. Uh, this is really questionable historically.
There's nothing honorable about being too afraid to go inside when it's cold because you know you're gonna get the shit beat out of you if you don't listen to
Right,
what your master told you to do.
right.
I'm just gonna spell that out for people. There's
Yeah,
nothing fucking honorable in a
no,
12-year-old boy dying because he was too afraid of what his master was going to do to him
yeah.
if he defied his orders.
Mhm.
There's no honor in that.
Mm-mm. Now, uh, let's see. There's not really any record of this happening, neither.
Of course
Um,
not.
Also, a letter from 1987 addressed to the Enoch Pratt Free Library, written by Ellen McAllister Clark, who was a Vermont or a Mount Vernon librarian, said that the story was started by Washington to boost patriotism amongst blacks during the Revolutionary War.
That's not how that works, sir.
Right. Washington was trying to make a name for himself as a humanitarian back then,
Your
even though there's nothing humanitarian about that
motherfucking
shit.
teeth came from enslaved people.
Right.
How the fuck are you a goddamn humanitarian? I'm sorry, I'll back away as I scream. Ah! I can't.
Now, there was never any uh, record of Jocko graves in the registries. So, like the slave registries that Washington had, never had a Jocko graves. Um,
I would be surprised if he kept record of every single slave he ever owned.
That's what I was about to say. Not saying that he didn't exist. There was just no records.
Not many
Uh,
records of much of my ancestors either,
there
unfortunately.
was also no record of anyone freezing to death at the time. Although Washington did own slaves, and it would be likely that they would have been taking care of his horses in stables. Uh, Also, there was never any lawn jockeys at Washington's house. So there aren't any statues there neither.
Interesting.
His estate at Mount Vernon was inventoried, and visitors have been in and out of Washington's house for God knows how long. Nobody's ever reported seeing a Jocko statue there.
Which again, how easy would it be to just move it?
Yeah, this is true.
Like, and replace it with a different statue because, oh, I don't know, maybe it's not a good look.
Right. The story of Jocko Graves, the little boy that held Washington's lantern all night, sacrificing his life in the process, is kind of a fictional tale
Well,
also.
and also, how what is the word that I'm looking for? I'm not sure what the word is I'm looking for, but there's something wrong with a man, with a white man, who thinks that it's a good idea to create a story about a 12-year-old black child freezing to death on his orders.
That's
And
heroic.
he thinks that that's going to inspire patriotism within the black community,
Right.
which was still enslaved at this point.
Right.
Motherfucker, you had their fucking teeth in your mouth.
And that's kind of where this story falls under historians. That's what historians think of it. They kind of place the story of Washington in the same category as Washington cutting down his dad's cherry tree,
Right.
which was not true. Uh, it never happened.
It's just like another lie that they made up to make him look good.
Also, like the story of Washington having wooden teeth. Washington didn't have wooden teeth.
They were people teeth.
He had the teeth taken from his servants, which is like, oh man,
He
that's so
had,
gross
yeah,
and
listen to
wrong.
that again, people. He had live, healthy teeth pulled out of enslaved people's mouths to put them into his mouth.
Yep.
That is the first official president of the United States.
Yeah.
And we wonder how we got here today.
I mean, just about every story that I've learned in school about General George Washington was a lie.
Like everything we've learned in school was a fucking lie.
Like they just told us that to make us think this country was amazing and its founders were impeccable with no flaws. Like
I can't.
that's just what we were taught
Gotta
back
keep a
then, I
lid on
guess.
that rage.
But many of the real stories of heroism of African Americans were ignored or just flat out not told to us in the 19th and 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
Um, their deeds were left out of books and papers. Felicia's got a poster on her wall in the laundry room of black inventors and important people. There were so many that we really didn't hear
There's
about them.
hundreds of people on that poster.
Our
Hundreds of people.
our history has truly been whitewashed in the United States. Don't get me wrong, the story of Jocko Graves is a noble one and can give African Americans a sense of pride in our country, but because they have uh, they have contributed in the making of America in many ways. But
Brown and black people have built this country.
just wait till they document the sport of hockey.
Gee, where do you think that came from?
But back to
It was
the
a black man.
right. But back to the lawn jockey story. Now you guys can give me as much backlash for this as you want. Thank you, internet. But in my opinion, I speculate that most people who purchase lawn jockeys for their yards don't even know the story of Jocko Graves.
Real or
Um,
not.
the lawn jockey statues are little black-faced statues, usually dressed in a horse jockey outfit and holding a lantern. There are also other versions of the same little statues, such as a little black woman in sundress and a straw hat with no shoes, or the male version of a black man with overalls, undershirt that was rolled up, with sleeves rolled up, and a straw hat, also with no shoes.
Ew, that's what those things are at our store. We've had 3 of those statues for like months and we haven't put them out because we're like, eh.
Yeah.
Now I know for sure they can go in the dumpster. Okay.
At the place that I drove by before the wedding, there seemed to be quite a variety of little lawn statues. They probably had 50 of them out in their yard and
Were they
house.
all
And
black?
oh yeah,
Oh my god.
yep.
And these people were not black.
I really doubt it. I mean,
Yeah, I know, because you said it's like a farm up there where people
yeah,
can have events.
but you know, but again, I would would be willing to bet that the owners have never heard of Jocko Graves and were not purchased because they were proud of Jocko for being brave at Mount Vernon.
Honestly, it would be worse if they did.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how you can hear that story and go, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I wanna put the little dead black boy in my yard."
right.
Like, what? What is wrong with white people?
But I'm pretty sure they didn't purchase them because they were proud of black heritage either.
Well, of course not.
I'm pretty sure it was a white owner, but I mean, although I could be wrong, I didn't dig into the owner of the property in question. Uh, a lot of owners of the lawn jockeys nowadays buy them because they think they are cute, which makes me want to vomit.
And what's
Um,
crazy is there are other lawn jockeys you can get.
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Sorry.
Uh, can't they just stick with lawn geese or
That
or gnomes?
no,
Like
I mean there are white lawn
Felicia
jockeys.
loves gnomes.
I do love gnomes. I have a couple of
Like
gnomes myself.
they're magical,
But
you
there
know?
are white lawn jockeys.
Well,
My
that
problem.
there there's a thing about that too.
Okay.
But um
My problem is the blackface
but
folks.
even pink flamingos would be better. Like and
I love a fucking pink flamingo.
I
Are
kind
you
of don't
kidding
like the
me?
pink
I
flamingos.
They're so tacky and ugly
Yeah.
and gaudy. That's why I like them.
I could see even fake deer or bear, which is a lot of people around here have those, even though that makes me just as nauseous when driving by. Um, but if I tried to tell the person that bought all those statues that they were making people uncomfortable with their collection of lawn jockeys, I would definitely be met with a "you don't tell me what to do on my property,"
I tell you what, they wouldn't care one goddamn bit.
which is ick. But okay,
It's like you're ostracizing a whole demographic of customers.
yeah.
Because I promise you, if a black person finds a listing for that farm and they want to get married there, they go out and
Well,
visit the farm.
I didn't say that that was there. It was like on the way to there.
That's
But
what I'm saying, though. But like, if they pass by there and they see that, they're not going to want to have
yeah,
their wedding in that area.
no,
Like, if somebody had a Trump flag hanging off their house,
right,
it's the same fucking thing.
yeah.
Oh, I'm spitting. Sorry, I'm getting, I'm pissed.
I got her mad.
I'm pissed.
But so it's ick, and although they are free and allowed to do that if they want, it doesn't
It doesn't make it okay.
doesn't make it all right. But so the story of Jocko Graves is not the only origin about the lawn jockeys.
Okay. I'm like, there's got to be like something else going on.
According to historian Charles Blockson, who is a collector of Underground Railroad artifacts, claims that the lawn jockeys were used during the late 1700s in the Civil War. He thinks that the lawn jockey would be set outside of a house to warn escaped slaves of danger and to also signify that the building was a safe house. He said that they were used to communicate this by a colored ribbon tied around the arm of the lawn jockey. They would also light or extinguish the lantern that the lawn jockey was holding, using them for signaling if a house was safe. He thinks that the red ribbon tied around the lawn jockey's arm, or using a red ribbon tied around the arm, would represent danger for escapees to stay away, while a green colored ribbon would signal that the house was safe.
Red light, green light.
Yeah. Now, the use of red and green signal colors was also used during World War One as railroad signals. So this could just be misconstrued from that time.
Also, fun fact: Stoplights back in the day were only red and green at one point in time, and there were so many accidents that kept happening. A black man was like, "Hey, you should put a yellow one in there to let people know it's going to change real quick."
That's funny.
So you can thank a black man for the yellow light.
Nice.
It means go really, really fast.
Yep. Really, any color of ribbon could have been used at the time, and it's possible they used all different colored ones.
Yeah, and I feel like, well, I guess red would have been available. There was a point in time where red wasn't an available color,
Right.
but I feel like that was probably further back in history.
The signal system only had to be understood by the enslaved and their helpers. Um, Now, the story of slaves using them as a signal system is not well known, and there's some flaws in the theory. The slaves that escaped during the time of the Underground Railroad mostly traveled at nighttime.
Mm,
Uh, Knowing this, it is likely or unlikely that they would have used colored scarves or ribbons, seeing as how they would have a hard time seeing this or seeing the signal from a good ways away.
yeah, which I could more believe that they used the light,
Right. It
the
does.
lantern,
It doesn't mean that they didn't use it. Um,
just not necessarily the scarf part of it.
right. It just means they would have to get danger close to tell if an area was safe or not.
Hmm.
Um,
And like, think about it. They would have to do this because in the time of war, what was it, like the Fourth Amendment or something? I think this is the reason why we have the Fourth Amendment, because troops could just show up at your house and be like, "Hey, we're gonna stay here," and you could not do a fucking thing to stop them.
yeah.
Nothing. You had to quarter troops whenever they showed up at your door.
Yeah.
And so if you have people escaping via the Underground Railroad, they know there's a house that is a stop on the railroad. If that house has been quartering troops, they have to signal some way like we can't take any refugees at the moment.
Yeah.
So, in case you're wondering, like, why would they do that? Like, duh.
Right. Some brave souls did venture out during daylight as well. Um, they'd just be like, "Fuck it, I'm gone."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, oh god, I wish I could remember his name. I'm gonna have to do an episode on him. One motherfucker shipped himself in a box to Philadelphia.
That's awesome.
He said, "I'm getting the fuck out of here."
Snap into my Slim Jims.
It like I was like, this motherfucker said, "I'm gonna ship my ass in a box to Philadelphia," and he did, and he survived.
Right. That's cool.
Crazy.
Now, the lighting of the lantern would have worked pretty well, as you
Mhm.
said. Um, they could light the lantern held by the lawn jockey to signal that there was a safe house, and unlight the lantern would mean that the house was full and that the helpers could not take any more escapees. Now, I would doubt that this system was used during the time period there. Wait, I wouldn't doubt that this system was used during the time period there, or there were probably many ways that the runaways used to send secret messages to their helpers. Like, I'm sure not those two aren't the only versions of the messages sent.
I do have to say, please use a different word than runaways.
Okay,
They weren't like running away from home, they were escaping.
right.
Flee.
But none of them were well documented.
Yeah.
They were secret for a
I
reason.
mean, hello. Hello.
If the lawn jockeys were used to send signals, the practice probably wasn't very widespread
Mhm.
because there was so many different ways of sending signals. Um, Nowadays, there is a chance that some families have purchased lawn jockeys to honor the escapees during this time period. But again, most people nowadays haven't heard the story of Jocko Graves or the signaling statues of the Underground Railroad. I get the feeling that the house I drove by was keeping these statues around as a reminder of an era long gone. Now, I'm glad my wife wasn't with me when I drove
Mm.
past because, as a black woman, she would have felt very uncomfortable seeing all the Jocko statues. It is likely that people who own a lot of these statues, whether they mean to or not, are telling the public that these are white spaces and that black people are not welcome. It gives the owners the feeling that they are rich masters, and a lot of those statues had enslavement clothes on them, which is called groomsmen ornaments. A lot of the statues are dressed in horse riding gear, which during the 1800s, enslaved men would be tasked with taking care of the owner's horses. So many of them became really good horse riders. Also, horse racing was very popular during the 1800s, and why pay a horse jockey to race your horse when you could get your horse tamer to do it for free, right? Like,
Cowboys were black, folks.
so most horse jockeys back then were African Americans. They even dominated the sport after all the slaves were emancipated. During the first Kentucky Derby in 1875, 13 out of 15 horse riders were black.
But they didn't win a goddamn thing.
Also, they won 15 out of the first 28 races at the famous Derby. The black man did.
I mean, they won the races, but they didn't, like, receive anything for it.
Oh, no.
The owner of the
Surely
horse
not.
got the reward.
I'm sure.
Because, can't have black people thinking they're all high and mighty because they can ride a horse.
Yep.
And now look where we're at. Only fucking rich white people can own horses. Okay.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that this is the main reason that the lawn ornaments became popular. Um, the origins of the precious lawn ornaments are unknown even to this day. Like, we don't really know why they started coming around.
Yeah, because even if they were used for the Underground Railroad, where did they come from?
Right,
Why did people have them in the first place?
right. And I think it's probably because of the horse. They taking care of the horses and stuff. Um,
Which, like,
but most African Americans now feel like ultimately these lawn ornaments are demeaning and are a reminder of a racist past. People that buy them might not realize it, but that is the meaning they are perceived in today's world.
impact over intent, folks.
If you don't believe me, go and ask an African American what they think about lawn ornaments with jet black skin, hunched backs, and oversized lips.
It's so gross.
They would tell you that they are offensive and racist. Lawn jockey has also been used in African American culture as a word for an Uncle Tom. And Uncle Tom was an insult used by a black person to another black person to say that they are selfish, conniving, too politically conservative, and detrimental to the African American culture. In 1996, a magazine called Emerge covered Clarence Thomas in their issue.
Ugh.
The cover of their magazine showed Clarence Thomas as a lawn jockey.
You know what?
The headline of the cover said, Uncle Thomas, lawn jockey for the far right.
You know what? We don't claim him.
Right,
We have actually excommunicated him from the communication, and he is no longer invited to barbecues.
right. Clarence has been called an Uncle Tom by a lot of people. However,
It ain't just because he married a white woman. It's all the shit he's been involved in, folks.
yeah,
One of my favorite podcasts, it was either Wine and Crime, Sinisterhood, Red Handed, Morbid, and That's Why We Drink. One of them did a whole fucking episode on Clarence Thomas and the shit he's been involved in. Oh boy,
right.
he's not a good person.
However, when the insult is used by a white person, it turns into something worse.
Oh yeah.
If a white uses the insult,
If a white.
if a white,
I'm sorry. I've never heard anybody say it that way. If a white.
well, people say the same thing about blacks,
They do.
right?
They say,
If a
if
black
a
did
black
this.
did this, yeah, get it. Get him, Bill. I love you so much.
If a white uses the insult, it turns into a racial slur and is a bad and as bad as using the N word itself.
Yep.
Most lawn jockeys are painted white nowadays. They paint them white.
I mean,
They
white
were
face them.
originally a black lawn jockey, but they paint them white. Uh, and they have lost their popularity after the civil rights movement. So people don't really
They're
like
like,
them now
really
because,
like it.
I mean, it's,
Some of these are
I don't know.
so. I'm gonna have to pick the worst fucking picture to post up here. I the big lips,
Yeah.
like they look absolutely fucking ridiculous. They got these big ass white bright eyes, these big ass fucking lips, and they are jet black.
Yeah. Um, although I did run across them in Waynesville.
I'm
If
not surprised.
if you do an internet search, there's lots of companies selling them now. Many different versions of them as well. So, what do you guys think about the controversial statue? Like,
Okay, so I just saw a picture of a cast iron lawn jockey
yeah,
from 1870 England.
yeah,
So they have a long history, which, like, I mean, England also was kind of the ones that started the Atlantic slave trade.
they would
So,
back then they would use them as a hitching post. So, like, people would hang their horse. Uh, they would tie their horses to them.
why didn't you tell us that? Ah, get away.
But are they gross and represent racism?
I mean, now they do.
Like, why do people think they're cute? Like, it baffles me.
I do like some of them. The ones that are kind of sleek and they are white. All the white ones, but they're like sleek. They all have like different jerseys and stuff on. Those look really nice. The black ones.
Yeah, it's like, should they all be donated to the Jim Crow Museum, which is where I got most of my piece from.
Oh,
Shout
that's
out to the
cool.
Jim Crow Museum. Thank you
I'm sorry if
for
y'all are
knowing
getting
all this
attacked by
history.
Trump.
Um, tell us what you think in the comments. This is like a pretty controversial thing.
I think it's one of those things that it's gonna have to be. It could probably be case by case. Overall, as a blanket, I'm not comfortable with them. I don't like them.
Yeah,
They make me feel a certain type of way when I see them. Other black people see them, they might see pride, they might see heritage, whatever. I'm not going to police my own community and how they deal with the trauma and shit we were put through as a people for generations.
right.
And then you go to like England, and the ones from England, like they're lawn jockeys, you can tell they're lawn jockeys, but they're not anything like the racist black lawn jockeys
In the
that were
U.S.,
standard in America.
right?
Like you can tell these are just hitching posts. They're just guys that are just a hitching post, and they're not painted white. They're white people jockeys.
And I'm pretty
They're
sure.
made that way. And so like if I was in England and saw one of those, I probably wouldn't think twice about it.
I wonder if they're at the Kentucky Derby.
Ugh, that's
You
a
know what I mean?
good question.
Like, I wonder if there's like lawn jockeys in and around the racing stadium and stuff.
But I don't know. I think for me it would be um like I said, if I went to England and saw those, I don't think it would affect me like it would if I went down the road and saw them,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Because it's for them, they were just a hitching post.
Right.
And I'm sure their jockeys were white long before they started
Yeah.
the transatlantic slave trade because, other countries have been around a lot longer than this one.
And but I don't know, the historian that was writing this piece that I sourced my notes from, um they tried to find the origin, like was trying diligently to try to find where the first one came from and who made it and all that, and they couldn't find it. So
Well, I mean, if they come from England, that kind of shit might be really hard to find because,
maybe
again, like I just said, other countries have a longer fucking history than we do.
this is true.
England has been around for a long, long time.
Excuse me.
Um, Yes, lawn jockeys are often associated with the Kentucky Derby and are seen as symbols of equestrian culture representing the tradition and spirit of horse racing.
Yeah.
They can be found in various locations related to the sport, including historic racetracks.
Yeah.
So
To have them at horse racing tracks.
fun.
Yeah.
This person got a whole fucking collection and ain't a goddamn one of them black. And they all got on different colors and they're all like represent different stuff. See that? I get.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like if it comes from England, it's like, okay, well, this probably legitimately represents jockeys.
Yeah.
Like just jockeys. Not any particular race of jockey, just jockeys. But then you scroll down here and you see this little short, chubby, hunched over guy with big ass fucking red lips and his skin is jet black, and I want to scream.
Right.
So I don't know. It's again one of those things where like here culturally this is not acceptable.
I wish I'd have took a picture of it.
Over there we have to understand that that's a different culture with a different history.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that, I think, about a lot of things. There's a lot of things that make us uncomfortable about a lot of places, but it's like a long time ago. I used to talk, I mean, I still kind of talk shit about Asian people that eat cats and dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like that's part of their fucking culture. They eat that. They don't see it as a big deal. We're just fucking stuck up.
Yeah.
You know, you go to an Indian country that doesn't eat cows, they're gonna think you're crazy for eating a Big Mac.
And I kind of see it as like the rebel flag thing. Like people keep rebel flags, and
That's my
they're like,
heritage.
that's where we came from,
Your
and it's
heritage
like,
lasted for
well,
4 years.
you know, that's not something to be proud of.
It's like you can know your heritage. You can want to learn about your history without glorifying it,
I mean, it's
you know?
they were fighting for slavery. That's not something to be
Well,
proud of.
literally, everybody goes, "Oh, they were fighting for states' right." Yeah, the states' rights to keep slaves.
And so, if you have a horse farm and you get a bunch of black, um, lawn jockeys to represent your heritage of, 7 generations of horse farmers, it's still not okay.
That
It's
means
it's
there's
not something to be
probably
proud of that your ancestors forced black people to take care of your horses for you.
hello, hello. Did y'all hear what the white guy said?
Like, you should have been taking care of your horses yourself. Like, that would have been proud something to be proud of, not, whipping people to
Make sure your horse is good.
right,
I can't. I can't. Yeah, I don't know. Again, this is one of
but
those things where you gotta put aside the emotion sometimes, think about where you're at for a minute and where that culture is with history. Look at this. Look at this little white boy. He's so cute.
we're gonna have a lawn jockey.
We might. We might. I don't know. He might be a
Ugh.
black kid. I can't tell. He kind of look like a white kid. He don't look like it. See, that one's just cute. We are gonna. I done told you we're gonna get a black lawn jockey. We're gonna paint it orange, put blonde hair on it, and stick it outside. See if the neighbor fucking notices.
Oh, that's funny.
Jackass. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. So that's the story of the lawn jockey.
All
Thank you
right.
guys for
Well,
listening.
thanks for that one. I'm all fired up now. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you joining us this week, and we hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
Be kind to each other.
Love you. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.